Let's cook and taste Japan with SavvySensei right out of your own home.
Hello, I'm Kenichi Egusa. Today, I'll show you how to make sushi. Okay, let's begin. Now, I'm going to teach you how to defrost tuna. First, I have tap water running here, lukewarm at about 40 degrees Celsius or 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Here's the frozen tuna. On the surface, there's some fuzz left when it was cut by an electric saw. I'll rinse it off with lukewarm water. Rinse until each surface is smooth. After rinsing, get 2 sheets of paper towel and place tuna on the wrap. And wrap it in plastic. Cover it over with a paper towel. While in this condition, if you thaw it at room temperature of around 20 degrees Celsius or 70 degrees Fahrenheit, it will take 2 to 3 hours. In the fridge, it will take about 20 to 24 hours to thaw. This was taken out from the freezer at minus 60 degrees Celsius or minus 76 degrees Fahrenheit. At least it will take that much time. We will thaw it at room temperature today, so let's just leave it here. Now the tuna has thawed naturally. I will show you the steps on how to preserve the tuna. This is moisture absorbing sheet. The front side is polyethylene and the back is made of paper. On the paper side, place the tuna and wrap it up. This sheet absorbs drips from the tuna and keeps it inside to moisturize the tuna. It's just like a diaper. Then wrap it with this sheet and wrap it with plastic wrap. Then keep this in the fridge until you want to use it. Next, let's start preparing the vinegared mackerel. Start with mackerel. Rinsing with water to remove the scales from the tail. Scrape with a knife from the tail to the head to remove the scales. Then cut off the head next. Put the knife in diagonally from the abdominal fin. Then, from where the fin is, turn it over and put the knife in on the opposite side as well and cut the head off. Now I will take out the entrails from the stomach. When you remove the guts and the blood from the belly, the movement of the knife is like this. It's like scraping. Again, in the same way, scrape out with a knife the blood and guts from the belly. Also, with a kitchen knife from the head. Put the dark parts and rinse well with water. Remove the dark blood red parts until the fish becomes like this. Then, wipe the excess water. Now, I will slice this mackerel into 3 pieces. I will use a broad-bladed kitchen knife for fish named deba bocha, though it's a little small. At first, the abdominal side. Then the back. Use as little number of cuts as possible. Then cut it off. This is the half. This time from the back side. The fish has been cut into 3 pieces. Next, prepare the strainer and a baking sheet. Put the pieces of mackerel you sliced on them and sprinkle them with salt. I use algae salt, and I measured about 100 grams. Apply this to the whole of the mackerel with your fingers. Sprinkle the algae salt on all the pieces. Rub on the salt. Turn it over and do the same on the skin side. This will extract the water from the mackerel and remove the odor. When you rub the salt all over, keep them like this in the fridge. For the salt, set the timer for about 90 minutes. Now, the preparation of the mackerel is done for now. The mackerel has been covered with salt for 90 minutes. Let's rinse off the salt. Use running water and rinse it off completely, 1 piece at a time. Let it drain here. Rinse both pieces with cold water. Dry them with a paper towel. Now, this vinegar has been chilled for use with the mackerel. If it's not chilled, when you remove the skin, you cannot slice it cleanly. When the vinegar is lukewarm and you slice the skin, the flesh will be torn with the skin. So make sure to keep the vinegar chilled for use with mackerel. Into this vinegar, put the dried mackerel. Make sure to submerge it completely. Keep it in this condition for 60 minutes in the fridge. Wait for 60 minutes. The mackerel has been sitting in the vinegar for an hour. Let's take it out. Have a paper towel ready and take the mackerel out. They have been sitting in the vinegar for 60 minutes. If you leave them a little longer, the fillets will soak up the vinegar and become a more sour taste. In our restaurant, it's about 60 minutes until mild sourness is left in the fillets. After patting the vinegar off, wrap them up. Keep them wrapped in the fridge. That's it for the mackerel preparation. Now, let's begin with the tuna. First, we need tuna. Today, the tuna piece is this wide. Basically, the ideal width of sushi topping is the width of the chef's palm. The tuna is a little shorter than that size. First, let's slice it up. This width is the same width as a palm. I could slice it like this, but if you do it like that, it's slightly shorter, so I will slice it diagonally. You cannot avoid making the end piece. But try to make the last piece like this and cut off the ends. After slicing the tuna to the end, the next is the wasabi. To grate wasabi, use a grater with shark skin. When you grate wasabi, do it by drawing circles. We draw circles because it prevents the skin from being grated. If you grate wasabi up and down, the skin will be grated more. When you draw circles, you will get smooth wasabi without much grated skin. Here's the grated wasabi. Now, let's finish up. Here's something to moisten your hands. There is water inside. First, place the sliced topping on your left hand. Then, rice. The thing is, when you keep the fish stuck to your palm, it warms up. So lightly hold it with your thumb and index finger. Now, the rice. Take a bite size and roll it into a ball in your palm. When it's round, pick up some wasabi with your index finger of your right hand. Put the wasabi on the topping. Then, place the rounded rice on the topping. Hold this with your right thumb and index finger. With your left thumb, make a small dent in the rice. When there is a dent in the rice, with your right index finger, do this. And turn it over. With your index finger and thumb, squeeze and press. Squeeze and press. Here's one serving. We are done with sushi. Next, we will go to Matsukawa flounder. Here's the thing about slicing Matsukawa flounder. The width of my hand is about 8 centimeters, or 3 inches, which is the basic length. This Matsukawa flounder is firm, since it was cured tight with vinegar this morning. So, if you slice it too thick, it will be too tough to chew. Today, I'll cut the flounder thin. When it's thin, if you cut it to fit 8 centimeters, the shape of the finished sushi will not be that pretty. Cut it just a touch shorter. My width is 8 centimeters, so I'll cut it to 7 centimeters. Position the fillet diagonally. Cut off the edge. Slice it thin. Let's make another roll. Pick up the topping. Roll up the rice. Put the wasabi on the topping. Place the rice on it. As I mentioned a little while ago, the fillet is firm and crunchy. In that case, we use sudachi citrus. We season it with sudachi and salt. Drip a little sudachi. Sprinkle some salt. This is black. It's called charcoal salt. It's a mixture of charcoal and salt. Sprinkle this. The white fillet is finished. Now, I'll pluck out the backbones from the chub mackerel. Make sure you place a piece of cloth or something beneath. Why? Because if you put the fish directly on the cutting board, the fillet will be stuck to it, and the bones tend to break before they come out. So, place something, sarashi or anything, between the fish and the board. Then pluck out the bones. Begin at the head and pluck them out one by one. Make sure you pull in this direction. The bones have all been removed. Next, let's peel off the skin from the mackerel. Start at the head. Use your nails and peel. I mentioned chilling vinegar a while ago. When you peel off the skin, fish cured in warm vinegar has its skin stuck to the flesh. Then peeling the skin tears up the flesh. I soak this in cold vinegar, and it peels nicely from the flesh. Just the skin is coming off, like this. Now, you can either cut from the head or backwards and start from the tail. Today, I'll cut from the head. Cut off the edge. Now, I'll make sushi. Pick up the topping, roll the rice, and get some wasabi. The amount of wasabi is about 0.4 grams, or 0.01 ounces. For tuna, it's about 0.3 grams. For white fillets, like Matsukawa flounder, it's 0.2 grams. The reason is we use more wasabi for toppings with more fat. For shellfish, squid, and white fish with less fat, use less wasabi. Now, let's move on to the salmon roe. Salmon roe is made into gunkan maki. We use seaweed and make a roll that looks like a naval ship. The first step is making a rice platform. A rice platform is the base before surrounding it with seaweed. Squeeze up about 15 grams or 0.5 ounces of rice. Add about 0.3 grams or 0.01 ounces of wasabi. Next, seaweed. This is about 17 centimeters 7 inches long. This seaweed is about 3 centimeters or 1 inch long. Attach it on the side away from you and rotate the rice platform as you wrap the seaweed around. Here's one roll. Using a spoon, add salmon roe. 1 teaspoonful is about 10 grams or 0.4 ounces. It's finished. Next, I'll make Takamaki. Takamaki's center is seen as an iron rod. Let's cut the ingredient. For the filling, we'll cut about 21 or 22 grams, 7 or 8 ounces. Next, this is a rolling mat. Place the seaweed there. In our restaurant, we always use a seaweed bag to preserve seaweed. From here, take out one for a thin roll. A sheet of seaweed. This will not make a thin roll. Break it in half. This seaweed is 17 centimeters or 7 inches wide and 10 centimeters, 4 inches long. Seaweed has a front and back. The slick side is the front. The rough side is the back. You put rice on the rough side. So, place the seaweed with the rough side up. Take about 60 grams or 2 ounces of rice. Roll it up round in your hand. Place it on the left edge of the seaweed. Hold it with your right hand and press it with your left hand. Stretch it to the end. Now, push the stretched rice toward you evenly. When you do this, leave a little space on the side away from you. Put about 3 to 4 grams, 0.1 ounces of wasabi at the center. Place the red fish, teka, on top of the wasabi at the center. Roll and push the rolling mat forward. Close the little open space. Roll onto the open space one more time. Then adjust the shape over the rolling mat. It's finished. Next, I'll cut the roll into 6 pieces. Dip the tip of the knife in the water. Let the water run on the blade. This will make it harder for the rice to stick to the knife. Here's the center. Cut it at the center. Cut it in 2 motions, once, twice, and cut to the bottom. Now, cut these into 3 pieces. Cut this once, twice, and once, twice, and once, twice. They are finished. Now, let's make Kapamaki. First, cucumber. In our restaurant, we slice cukes thin. I think we need about 15 grams or 0.5 ounces of cukes. Cukes are pre-cut. Next, seaweed for hand wrapping. We keep the seaweed for hand wrapping in this bag as well. The reason is to prevent it from changing color from the sunlight, to keep it from getting damp. That's why we use the bag. With this seaweed, we need only half of it for one roll. Here's half. This is about 19 centimeters wide. We use this 19 centimeters wide and about 10 centimeter long seaweed. Keep your left hand as dry as possible. If you don't, as you are holding the seaweed like this, it will get soggy. So keep your left hand dry. Place the seaweed in your left hand. Put some water on your right hand. Get the rice. Prepare the rice. For this, you can also use about 30 grams of rice. Roll it into a slightly slender barrel. Put this on the seaweed. Then, spread it out a little, so it looks like this. Add about 2 grams of wasabi. Cucumbers don't have much oil to begin with. If you add too much wasabi, people will complain. After you add the wasabi, place the cucumber you just cut on top. Roll it up like this, in the shape of a tube. It's done. I'll make one more. For this, I will use another way of rolling. The same as before. Cut the cucumber. and prepare the same amount. Keep your left hand dry as much as possible. The same, about 30 grams. Wide at the top and narrow at the bottom. Hold and spread out, as before. Put about 2 grams of wasabi here. Place the cucumbers. When you do this, start rolling from the edge close to you. Take the bottom edge first and keep rolling it up. Like this triangle is the standard hand roll's shape. This is done.